The Washington Commanders have had a busy offseason, and it all came to a crescendo with their 2025 NFL Draft. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down the Commanders Draft from the 2025 NFL Draft. Before we get into that, Ryan is getting married here in a couple of weeks, so send him an early wedding present by hitting that subscribe button, tackling that bell, and leaving a like and a comment. Let us know what you think of their draft. And Ryan, let's pull up who they selected here during the draft weekend, and we're going to talk about some of the other guys that they got in free agency as well with some of these picks. But Josh Conerly, their first pick, 29th overall offensive tackle from Oregon. Then they got an aggressive corner that I have liked, Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss. Then they got Jaylin Lane, receiver from Virginia Tech, and then they even got Kain Medrano, linebacker from UCLA. And then rounding out the Washington Commanders 2025 NFL Draft. In the 7th round, Jacory, Croskey-Merritt, running back out of Arizona. And a couple names you don't see here on this list that we're going to include in this draft class. Deebo Samuel, receiver from San Francisco 49ers, and also left tackle Laramie Tunzel as well. You kind of have to me, I think you have to factor that into this draft class as well. And I will say, no matter who they would have gotten with those picks, I think Deebo and Laramie Tunzel are going to provide significantly more value this season than whoever they would have drafted overall during that time as well. And so I think the Commanders was a trade for Deebo was a 3rd round pick. And then I think Laramie Tunzel was a 5th round pick this year, but I think they're giving up a 2nd and a 4th next year as well.
Yeah, something like that.
So that being said, worth it. Laramie Tunzel's one of the better left tackles in the league. And
yeah,
to me, the pick that really stands out to me in this one is the Trey Amos pick. I think if you're looking at this team as a whole, I think they found something in Mike Sanders trail. They traded for Marshawn Lattimore last year, but there was some things out after that in the secondary, just as a whole, like where can we improve? And I think going to get Trey Amos, I think he's a guy that Dan Quinn would really like. He's the one I to me really sticks out. Nothing against Josh Conerly. I'm looking at Josh Conerly and want to get your thoughts on this more as like developmental piece, high upside. We've seen him rise up draft boards throughout this entire draft process. But I also think though too maybe they're even developing for post Laramie Tunzel because Laramie Tunzel he is on the other side of 30. So maybe whenever that contract's up or when he's looking for a new contract, like hey, let's have this guy in waiting.
Yeah, I view him in a very similar light. Maybe they try to flip him over to right tackle. He's an elite athlete at the tackle position. His biggest issue is play strength. We saw that where Mike Green kind of ran through him at the Senior Bowl. I think everybody has seen that. But maybe they'll try to flip him over to be a right tackle. Maybe they'll just keep him on as a backup for now. But yeah, that is like the one pick I kind of question out of this. They only made 5 picks. But I do question that one a little bit. Just because they just traded for Laramie Tunzel. It was about where he was expected to go. I just question like the fit there overall. Yeah. It's just an odd, like, not to bring up your Falcons, but like the Falcons paid Kirk Cousins and then they went out and drafted Michael Penix. Like it was just a weird like fit there.
It wasn't that weird. Like
this pick
picking, huh?
This pick,
the Josh Conerly pick.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's that level of odd. I'm just saying like they went out, they spent a lot of assets to go and get a player, and then they immediately turn around and draft the same position in the first round. And it's like that to me is just a little odd. With that being said, tackles are at a very high premium right now just because there are not enough tackles in the NFL that can play at a high level. So
and that's my pushback overall to that comparison to the Falcons, because the Falcons, looking back, it was definitely much more odd than this. Only one quarterback plays per play. There's two tackles that pay.
No, and that's fair
per play. So
yeah,
you have Larry Tunzel on one side, but maybe Josh Conerly then could do the other side as well. So like there is some competition because as of right now, the starting right tackle for the Washington Commanders is Brandon Coleman, who they just drafted last year. As well, the 3rd round pick. So there's some competition in there.
The left guard. That's weird. They have him at right tackle.
Well, maybe some guys left. Another thing then too as well is Conerly. What's his size again? How big is he?
He's 6'4", 310, 315.
Yeah. So Sam Cosmi did tear his ACL in the divisional round against the Detroit Lions. So his status for playing in 2025 is highly much up in the air. So this also then could have been like maybe he can kick in the guard, maybe Brandon
Yeah,
Coleman can kick in the guard. So I also think
that's
too
fair.
maybe they see this year and then this could be a starting one. I personally think the Trey Amos pick I like a little bit more. If I mean, I think that's really good value there. Nothing against Josh Conerly, but at the same time, though, too, I would get why they would go and do that. That being said, though, when I look at the grand whole scheme of what the Commanders have done this offseason with their draft picks, you go get Debo Samuel, you go get Laramie Tunsil, you get two solid players that are going to be long-term contributors for sure. This year, we'll have to question it a little bit. Maybe there's some development that still needs to be done,
Yeah,
but still long-term though. I in general, I would give the Commanders a B plus overall. They did give up some draft capital overall to especially even the next year, so we'll have to see how things pan out. But they're in a very tough division. The Eagles are just loaded. They're so young. They're so loaded. They draft so well, and it's wild. Like who they drafted, like I think they got better, which is wild to say.
yeah,
But I think the Commanders did all the right things this offseason to try and get past the NFC Championship. Their biggest thing is just going to be like, can it all come together? Can there not be a sophomore slump?
yeah,
With Jayden Daniels and with Cliff Kingsbury as the OC, but I think they can do it. I think they're a lot of fun to watch. It's as a Falcons fan, just a football fan, it's hard for me to root against Jayden Daniels and then Jalen Hurts. Like both of those guys, I think are just such
yeah,
class acts. Like you just want to see them do well until they play my Falcons, and I want to see them just have off nights. If I'm being honest, so. But I guess everybody could say that about any opposing quarterback.
yeah. Well, and that's I think this Commanders team, like they did a really good job this offseason. As far as this draft goes, so factoring in the fact that they spent picks on Laramie Tunsil and Debo Samuel, I'll give this draft a C plus. Um, I to put that in perspective, my C is average, so I have this as like a slightly above average draft grade. I just don't the Conerly pick felt a little redundant to me, and I'm weighing the earlier picks more. I didn't love like the day 3 picks either. I'm not gonna knock them too much there. They only had 3 picks on day 3. But they spent a lot of their picks in free agency, and so I feel like that's gonna hinder their draft grade a little bit. So
Makes
I,
sense.
yeah, but all in all, giving them a C plus. This is a NFC Championship contending team. They have a very good team going forward. Jayden Daniels is legit. Like you said, if they don't have that sophomore slump, then they're going to be really solid. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of the Commanders 2025 draft class. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.